Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Please make sure you hit the sub button, hit the like button, leave me a comment at the end of the video and I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so we had some good news last week. Daybreak Games eventually got around to getting some new Commander cards online, and they went with the ones that came through in the pre-release kits for March of the Machine. So this week's videos, we're going to get a few of them going. Going to get some of the other cards still going that we still need to look at from Aftermath. It's taken me a little bit of time to finish off some of the Aftermath commanders at the moment, I'll be honest. But, I thought we'd get started and have a look at some of the actual commander cards that have come through. And obviously today's one is going to be Slimefoot and Squee. Black, red and green for 3/3, legendary creature, fungus goblin. And whenever Slimefoot and Squee enters the battlefield or attacks, you get to get a 1/1 green sapling creature token. And then you can pay 1 black, red and green and sacrifice a sapling and return Slimefoot and Squee and up to one other target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. Now, I really like this card. I'm a bit disappointed it's activate only as a sorcery, I'll be honest, but I think I found a way to get a benefit from it. So, this is what today's deck looks like as it stands at the moment. As usual, one of my deck techs go through the mana base. Black, red and green lands all over the place, as you can imagine. Fabled Passage, Field of the Dead are here. Just, haven't played them both together for a little while, but they're in this deck. And I've chucked in all the other green, black lands and red lands that I have, including Urborg and Yavimaya. You can take them out, replace them with other lands, it's fine. This is, as I've now becoming part of my spiel, I think I need to replace the cards where things get a little bit expensive. So there too you can look at. But the idea of this deck from my point of view is to try and get some big stuff in the graveyard, get Slimefoot and Squeeg into play, kill off Slimefoot and Squeeg, hopefully with the sapling token in play, and then get back Slimefoot and Squeeg and one of the big things. Pretty straightforward. So it's a bit unusual for me. It's not, I don't usually play decks where I have to manipulate my graveyard, which is basically what this deck's doing, but we're going to give it a go and see how it works out. So, rest of the ramp, just so we're clear, I only went with Mox Tantalite, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet. There's a few other bits and pieces that are going to get lands out, that's fine, but they're the ones I've started off with in this deck. And then it's a case of going forward from there. So, Stitcher's Supplier, enters the battlefield, you get to mill 3 cards. Hopefully you'll mill some of the big stuff and not something you really, really needed. Faithless looting gives you the opportunity to do the whole draw 2, discard 2. So if you've got a couple of big creatures in your hand, hopefully you can discard them to your graveyard and get something that's really useful for you. Ignoble Hierarch is in just because it kind of ramps in the right colours for us. The Exalted side of it's not really that important, but a 1 mana for a creature that taps for the 3 colours we need seems pretty important to me. Obviously, Squeeg and Slimefoot have got red in their casting cost, so Dockside's here, and it's not a bad one to return as well when it gets that far, just so you can build up the treasure side of things. And then we've got the upper side to it. We've got Goblin Bombardment in the deck, because it might be you've got a big creature in play. Oh, sorry, big creature in your graveyard, and Slimefoot and Squeeg are in play, and you need to get Slimefoot and Squeeg in your graveyard. Goblin Bombardment's a really cheap way of just pinging something or someone, getting Slimefoot into the graveyard, then paying the 4 mana to go, right, return this and the big creature, let's go. So, nice cheap version. We've got a couple of other ways of doing it as well, which I'll get to. And then we've got the things that we're going to use to fill the graveyard up with. So, Commune with the Gods. We haven't got any enchantments. We can grab a creature if we get one. That's fine. But this gives us a nice way of chucking stuff in the graveyard that we don't need. Fauna Shaman, get to discard that big card we don't want to go and get something smaller that will help us even more. Likewise, Hermit Druid, similar idea. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a basic land card. Put that card in your hand and all other cards revealed this way into your graveyard. It's a great way of stacking your graveyard ready for Slimefoot and Squeeg to hopefully go off. Along with Mulch, we all know what Mulch does. We've all seen it a lot nowadays, I'm hoping. Reveal the top 4 cards, lands into your hand, everything else in the graveyard. It does help you ramp a bit, so Mulch is pretty good in this deck. Rampant Growth just goes and gets you a basic if you need it. And then we need sapling payoffs, and so sapling migrations in. 2 mana for 2 1/1s, or if we can kick it for an extra 4 mana, so take it up to 6 mana. We get 4 1/1s. Kicking is probably a little bit expensive, but you know, you might need the extra couple of saplings. There's a few other things in here that do the same thing. Sylvan Carroted, just to give us sort of like non-targetable ramp. Crocs is one of the big things. The chances are that you'll play this and you will never escape it, because you'll probably just start bringing it back with Slimefoot, and start getting your opponents to discard cards. It actually works out really well. Grizzly Salvage, reveal the top 5 cards of your library, creature or land card into a hand, the rest in the graveyard. Another way of getting the big stuff in the graveyard ready to get Slimefoot activations on the go. Necrogenesis is a nice way of creating saplings, and if anyone else is playing around with their graveyard, it means you can take out their creatures, which, you know, 2 mana, get a 1/1. I can cope with that. Payoff. Artifact Mutation is a card I forgot about. I'm going to be honest about this. I did a search on saplings, because I had a few from sapling decks I've done before, and I forgot that Artifact Mutation existed. So yeah, fun card. Lots of artifacts in EDH. We're seeing a slight uptick in, well, you've always going to have Soul Ring, you're always going to have Arcane Signet, but I've seen some of the sort of like Lotus type cards more recently. So, you know, killing them off for 2 mana and getting 5 saplings, it's a fairly good turnaround. Another one of the sack outlets is Altar of Dementia, another way to mill us out. Now, we can actually mill ourselves, because one of the tricks I have learned is you can sacrifice your Slimefoot and Squee to Altar of Dementia, mill ourselves, and hope you hit a card that you can bring back from the graveyard. So that's always fun. And then the Swiftfoot Boots are here, just so we've got a little way of maybe protecting Slimefoot if we need to, or one of the other big creatures we get coming into play. That's the only reason they're here. Not so much for the haste side, but the hexproof side. Chaos Warps here just helps control the board. Jesco's Will, just to get some extra mana and, you know, exile some cards if we need to do it that way. Squee automatically comes back from the graveyard. I went with the dubious Monarch version, because when it comes, you can pay, you know, exile 4 cards from our graveyard, pay the 4 mana, get it back, attack for 2, get a 1/1 goblin that's attacking as well. Might be a little bit weak, but it's a good bit of fun. You know, you've got to have the other version. You've got to have at least one other version of Squee in the deck, haven't you? Cultivate, ramp. Not going to that. Fungal Rebirth. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to hand. If a creature died this turn, create 2 1/1 green sapling creature tokens. Yeah, it should give us our saplings most of the time for 3 mana, which is quite nice, and a card. It's a bit like a regrowth with an upside from my point of view, so it's in. Scout the borders, reveal the top 5 cards, put a creature or land among them into your hand, put the rest in our graveyard. A little bit slow at sorcery speed, but I'll cope with it. Wood Elves, just go and get us as a land, basically. Golgari Germination, we kill off our creatures, we get saplings. So if we've got this in play, and we kill off Slimefoot via, you know, sacrificing it to this or to this, it gives us an extra sapling. Okay, can cope with that plan. Obviously, Slimefoot's here as well. If you've got one version of Squeak, you have the other version of Slimefoot as well, just to get some, you know, and 4 mana to create any number of saplings is fine. Ashnod's Altar, Phyrexian Altar, just another way of sacking creatures off. Mana, obviously, yeah, we need 4 mana, 3 of the colours and 1 other. So, yeah, Phyrexian Altar might be slightly more important than Ashnod's Altar, but it depends what you've got in play already. Damnation controls the board. Guardian Project gives a bit of card draw. And Invasion of Zendikar. I've got quite into some of the battle lands, I have to say, or the invasion cards. This one's even nicer because, you know, 4 mana, go and get a couple of basics out of our land into play, and then if we can get it transformed, we get a 4/4 vigilance with mana that taps. So I can't complain about that. Parallel Lives, another way I've just chucked it in. This is another one of the cards which is expensive that can come out. You can replace it with something else. I just want to make sure I was always producing sapling tokens, hence why Parallel Lives is here. Nemeter, the Primeval Warden, has reach, and if a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it, and we get sapling, and then we can sacrifice saplings to draw cards, make the Warden even bigger. It's okay, but, you know, it gives us a way if we're dealing with our opponent's creatures. And we get all those saplings. Nice. Halal and Elena, the partners, are here just to pump up the power of our creatures and give things haste when they come back into play. Because, you know, Slimefoot does it brings them back, doesn't give them haste. So it's one way of doing it. Tana, the Bloodsower, again, not the biggest partner card in the world, but if you can sneak it in for 2 damage and get those extra saplings, all well and good. This may be an easy removal from this deck. I haven't quite decided yet, but I'm still umming and ahhing over it. Occasionally it's worked for me, but it's quite nice, because we've got Trample and you've got Halana. If you can get the +1/+1 counters on here, you end up with 4/4 Trample, and you're bound to start hitting some sapling tokens at some stage. Ulshat, the Hate Seed, is also in. It's a battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each other red creature and green creature you control, and then you get to remove one and create sapling tokens. Okay, you can cope with that plan. Next 2 creatures are quite useful. Mad Rush Cyclops is something from, I forgot what, Alara Reborn, that was it, sorry. And gives all our creatures haste. It's a way of giving everything haste that we can return with Slimefoot and Squee, so that's why it's here. But Ognus, the Dragon's Leash, obviously I've done a deck on Ognus before, but this one fits in here nicely because if we're going to give all our creatures haste, and there are other ways of doing it, I'm aware of that, Hammer of Perforos springs to mind to start with, could go in this deck. But if we're going to give all our creatures haste, all those extra treasure tokens really help us, especially if we want to start doing funky stuff with Slimefoot and Squee. Moving over, Sheldred's here. Destroy a creature. Each opponent discards 3 cards, then mills 3 cards, and put all creature cards from all graveyards onto the battlefield under our control. If we've done that and given them all haste with Mad Rush, we're probably winning the game. But you gotta have Sheldred in. You gotta have at least one Praetor in a deck at the moment. Plus, this one's got Menace. When it comes into play, each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature or planeswalker, so gives you a little bit more control randomly, but it gives you some control. Tendershoot Dryad produces saplings, fine by me. And then Invasion of Chandelier. Enters the battlefield, return up to 3 target permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand, and if we can get it flipped into Leyline Surge, we're winning. Because putting a 3/B into play at the beginning of each upkeep is fantastic. Speaking of things that help us get there a little bit quicker, Xenagos, God of Revels, just so we can do the haste and +X/+X. And Korvold, Fey Curse King. People will probably wonder why this is in here, but we do a lot of sacrificing with this deck, and therefore getting the +1/+1 counters on Korvold and then drawing the card seems quite useful to me. Grave Titan hasn't seen the light of day in one of my decks for a while, hence why it's here today, along with Noxious Gearhulk, but these are some of the targets we're looking to get Slimefoot getting back. So Grave Titan comes back. If you bring it back with Slimefoot, you're paying 4 mana for what? 6, 9, 13 powers worth of creatures for 4 mana if it's in the graveyard. Noxious Gearhulk, you get that nice little bit of life bumping and destroying something that's useless, annoying you from your opponent. Combustible Gearhulk, you're either going to deal someone 6 damage or they're going to let you have the card draw. Again, fair payoffs to me, and it's got first strike. Yeah, both versions of Italia here. This is the original one from the Rivals of Ixalan. Attacks, exile the top card of each player's library, then cast those spells without paying their mana costs. Yep, fine by me. Rampaging Balos is Rampaging Balos. I decided to put it in. We've got enough land in here that we'll get the odd landfall trigger off it, and it's a nice target to return with Squeak, a bit like Kolga and Yadaru are. Bring it back, fight something, kill off Slimefoot, bring it back again, fight something. Plus, this has the added benefit of destroying an artifact for enchantment, and you get to shuffle it into your library from your graveyard and draw a card. So, it does a little bit of extra, and that's one of the reasons we haven't got Reclamation Sage in this deck, because we've got this in here to hopefully take out the artifacts and enchantments that are annoying us. Blood Money wipes the board and gives us a whole load of treasure, fine by me. The other version of Vitali's in as well, because if you're playing a green-red deck, I think you're going to see this all the time now, so it seemed pointless not having it here. Avenger Ascender cards, great target for Slimefoot and Squee. Get all those plant tokens. Guess they're plants, not saplings. Glad they're not really. I think this would be broken if it was. And Omnath, Locus of Rage. I decided to drop Omnath in as well. Again, landfall triggers, give us some 5/5s. And if they die, get to lightning bolt things. All good by me. Verdant Force provides us with the continuous amount of saplings we need every upkeep. So our upkeeps, our opponent's upkeeps, we're always going to have saplings ready to go for Slimefoot with a bit of luck. And Death Mutation is a really expensive removal spell. Not going to argue that. It's 8 mana, it's ridiculously expensive. However, 8 mana to kill the biggest thing in play on the opposite side of the board and get saplings equal to that creature's mana value, I am not going to complain about. Last few cards. I'll do the last big creature card first before I do all the X spells. Altar Primal Hunger's here. Lovely target to get in the graveyard and get back into play with Slimefoot. And then the X spells. Liliana's Indignation. This is one of my stream followers tipped me off to this one. We mill X cards. Target player loses 2 life for each creature card put into your graveyard this way. So if you've got someone who's really close to death, hopefully you can kill them off with this. Or if someone's gone on that, let's get loads of life off Atraxa, which is starting to rear its head again. This might be a way of slowing them down a bit and getting them down. Plus it puts all those creatures into our graveyard ready for Slimefoot to take out. Open the Way is one of the new cards from Aftermath, and I've been trying to find a deck to try it out in, and this seems like a good one. Okay, we don't get to put stuff in our graveyard, but it is X-Land cards, and since we're playing in Commander, it should be being cast for 6 mana, and we get those lands into play, which seems like a good plan to me, and it can be any lands we're going to hit, so yeah, it's a nice way of sneaking our jewels in, put it that way. Final card in the deck, Invasion of Ikoria. We get to search our library or graveyard for a non-human creature card with mana value X or less and put it onto the battlefield. If you search this library this way, shuffle, and then obviously it flips into Zithora, Apex of Ikoria. I've put it in because it's a nice cheap way of searching out something like Mad Rush Cyclops, Ognis if we need to, Hana, Nemata, the low lend stuff. I'm not going to say we're going to pump in, 14 mana to go and get Golta, because that would just be a waste of time and energy. I'm sure it'd be better something we can do with 14 mana in our deck, but it gives us a way of getting some of the cheaper creatures out. And that's it. That's my take on Slimefoot and Squee. Hope you've enjoyed the video today. Leave me a comment down below, let me know what you think, let me know what I've missed, but I'm really looking forward to playing Slimefoot and Squee on stream, and that'll be happening sometime this week when I get to stream, so hopefully come and check me out then. Link to Twitch down below, come and give me a follow over there. Please, please, please make sure you've hit the subscribe button here on YouTube. Sitting at 182 still, so I'd like to start seeing that go up again. So anything you want me to cover, let me know in the comments, and hopefully you'll come watch tomorrow's video as well. So take care, I'll see you soon. Bye.